Good morning from Sacred Space at Titania's Realm. So, last night was a very spiritual and surprising, there was a very spiritual and surprising event. And prior to that, I had been spending the evening. I had come across a video from Andrew Berry, and honestly, there are no coincidences in the universe, in the multiverse, really. Everything is just so finely tuned and so finely connected that I actually feel quite amazed and humbled. So I came across this video from Andrew Berry on how to polish up your hammers. And this tiny little hammer I have, and this cross-peen hammer, they came to me from my mother's inheritance when I was given custody of her possessions in 2008. So I've had them for some time, and I actually hadn't used them much apart from maybe occasionally smashing the occasional nail in or trying to hold things together like my fragile psyche that I hold together like an intricate little spider web, sometimes drifting in the cosmos and sometimes backlit with lovely little dewy droplets of Diamante excess. I'm waxing lyrical, people. I've got to make a quick video and can't rave on because I've got to go and get my hair done today, and I've got to leave soon. Got an appointment. But anyway, in the midst of watching this Andrew Berry video on how to clean up your hammers, which I thought was a very important thing to know, to keep your tools in pristine condition. And I've been annoyed at these old hammers, at how rusted they were and ugly, and I had contemplated throwing them out and just buying new ones. And I thought, no, the purpose of my little business is to recycle antique or vintage silver or silver plate or even EPNS. I prefer sterling silver because I'm opulent like that. And I want to learn how to be a real jeweler or silversmith. So I don't like playing with the stuff that's really of not much value. I mean, some of the stainless steel stuff and the EPNS, it's electroplated nickel silver. It's pretty, and I have made things with it, but I just saw it as something to practice with. But anyway, so I got busy polishing up these hammers, and then I looked at the timber on this hammer, which was all very awful looking and manky, and I actually sanded that back. I only sanded it back to 240 grit. I could have gone right through all the grits and made it really slippery and shiny, but I thought, because it's a hammer and I'm going to, be smashing with my arthritic old lady hands, I wanted it to still have a fair bit of, roughness and something to grasp. Anyway, this is my effort. I could have done a much better job, but I was just trying it out, just following the video instructions and trying it to see what results I get. And I'm very happy with my results. So in the process of doing this, because when one works with one's hands or dances wildly 3 or 4 hours, as I want to do, or spends time in the garden, digging and weeding, anything physical, I find personally, but I'm sure it's true for many other people, it's a meditative state for me. Like, some people spend hours and hours in actual meditation, doing nothing, sitting on a yoga mat, and basically a form of disassociation, in my opinion. But I'm not knocking it, because that too is a flow state, and opens your chakras and your meridians and opens you up to communication with your higher self, your higher mind, and, you know, your guides, your angels, or your cosmic collective consciousness, as Jung describes it. And it's a very powerful thing because you get messages, excuse me, from spirit, Great Spirit, the Holy One, God, if you believe in that, or from the collective unconscious, which guide you in the right direction in life sometimes, or give you little warnings of things to look out for, or just supplies you with a measure of peace in dark, turgid, turbulent, ugly times such as we have been living in the last, well, for me, they've always been ugly times, but for most average, ordinary, normies, mainstream people, the last 2 years have been very confronting. And the only reason I got through them and am still getting through them so admirably is I am a professional trauma survivor. I've been doing this trauma shit for decades. But I don't want to focus on the negative. We're focusing on the positive today. So midway through polishing one of these hammers, I think it was this one, I was just in my zone, thinking, contented, hard-working, grinding. I was grinding with my fake Dremel, I'm going to shout myself a real Dremel one day, but this is still working. It doesn't do a fantastic job, but it still gets results. And midway through this, I thought to myself, the thought came to me, you're hammering like Mölnir from Thor, which is the Viking god Thor, the god of electricity and thunder and lightning and, forces of nature. You're hammering away at your Mölnir hammer, feeling very contented with life, Tanya, and that's a beautiful thing. And you're taking pride in your possessions, even though some of them were quite old. And this one actually bent. I don't know what I was doing. I must have been using the claw part, and it actually bent in half. So it didn't even need to be polished last night. It should have just been chucked, but I can still use it for smashing little rivets down, right? Anyway, or see how the face is really nailed up. That I couldn't get it much more polished than that, but I'm sure if I kept at it, I could. But I could carve into it, turn it into a texturizing hammer. It'd be perfect for that. It's light in the hand. Look, I just go bing, 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 bing.